This is Eric from Pack Hacker, and today we're going to talk about the Eagle Creek 311 travel sack, which I've been testing for the past 2 weeks. Let's dive in. So kicking things off, I think it's important to note that the most common place you will find this travel sack is with the Eagle Creek bottle set, which we have inside here. So we'll talk about those a little bit as well, but this is obviously a review of the 311 travel sack. So that's what we'll talk about most. As you can see, this is a clear TPU material. This is probably the thinnest TPU that I've come across, at least. Very, very thin and very lightweight. It comes in at 26 grams, and that's without the bottles inside. Obviously, so very, very light. I think a standard quart-size Ziploc bag is about 8 grams. So obviously heavier than a Ziploc baggie, but you have a lot more durability with this and a lot more longevity with it as well, and with the zipper and just a little bit thicker, obviously, TPU material. There have been some people that reported online with durability concerns about this thing. So when I started, I was a bit worried about that, especially these loops here, which are the same TPU material and have a pretty, I don't want to say flimsy, but just lightweight attachment point here. I'm not sure if that's radio frequency welding, but it does not seem super secure, but I have been using these loops with no issues, and obviously I have not punctured this or anything like that in my 2 weeks so far of use. If we do have any issues moving forward, we'll update our usage timeline and let you know, but I haven't had any durability issues with this. It has lasted, and I went camping with it and just have been kind of using it daily in my, for my toiletries, and have not had any issues. The zipper here is, at least to my eye, unbranded, and we have a water-resistant zipper track there. Really easy, snappy to open and close. And there is a small hole there where the zipper track ends, but it does have a little piece of plastic that kind of covers it. I did test it a little bit with some body wash, and a little tiny bit did come out, but not enough to where I was worried about it. And that was, I put a fair amount in there and squeezed it out. So no issues with the zipper either. So I'm going to pull these bottles out here just to kind of show you the bottom of it without these in there. As you can see, it is currently, oh, no, it's not. It doesn't want to stand up by its own right now, but you can, when it's empty, get it to where it'll want to stand on its own, because it has this gusseted bottom. So there's basically a fold there, and when you pull it, it goes flat. But when you put some weight on it or a piece of gear down there, it goes flat, and then, as you can see, it's currently standing on its own. Not that you really care when it's empty, but that just kind of shows the gusset on the bottom there. And these travel bottles have the width of the head, or the little, where the stuff comes out is not as wide as the bottom of the gusset, so they fit in there nicely. If you have things that are wider than the bottom of the gusset, it can be a little bit awkward, and you can have some it comes down weird like this. And not a huge deal. You can kind of position your gear differently. Like you can lie it sideways instead of sitting it on its head, or whatever you need to do. But these travel bottles fit in here really nicely. Obviously, they're designed to do that. But the travel bottles you have at home would probably fit inside here nicely too. They are pretty universal. But as you can see, once they're in there, there is a lot of extra space. There's a bunch of space up here, and there's just right now, if you're just using it for this, it just feels a little bit wasteful. And it can be hard to put other things in there because of these rounded tops up here. So if they had flat tops, they would be harder to grab onto and maybe a little bit harder to squeeze, but you'd be able to stack more gear inside here. So if you have like deodorant or something like that, it is kind of hard to stack it on top of them. Not a real big issue, especially if you're just kind of using this as for liquids, and then the rest of your toiletries are elsewhere. But I thought it was important to note. One thing I do kind of like about this is if you stuff this thing all the way full and you're like, oh man, I forgot my toothbrush, which is a very specific example because it happened to me. I like just shoving my toothbrush up in this little top part here, which I could see some people thinking that's a bit of wasted space, but if you have this packed out and you just need to get one little extra thing in there, your toothbrush or something tall and skinny will fit inside there. But overall, I'm real happy with how this travel sack has performed. As I said before, I did have durability concerns to start out with because I did see some reviews that were a little bit negative when it came to the durability of this thing. But these little loops lasted. They have not broken, and I hooked a carabiner to it to hook it inside my bag, and also we went camping, so I hooked this up in the bathroom while I was in taking a shower, and they did not break, and they have lasted, and the TPU is still going strong. Just one last thing, we do have the Eagle Creek logo right here, and then the 1 quart/1 liter. So when you're going through TSA, the agent knows what size it is, and they also know that it's Eagle Creek if they care. So there you have it, the Eagle Creek 311 travel sack. Thanks for keeping it here at Pack Hacker, your guide to smarter travel. We'll see you in the next one.